Oh, so we just turned this on to do our good morning, and
Can you guys hear that?
that muffled meow sound is definitely Mango with something in her mouth.
Something she wants us to look at.
Let's go see what it is.
Huh.
See if we can see a little preview, because she's going to try to jump inside with whatever she's got.
Can you see her?
I can't see her. Yep.
Good girl. Good girl.
Good girl. Another mouse. Excellent.
Another rodent. That's what we want. Good girl, Mango.
Good girl. Good girl. Good job. That's awesome.
You're the best. You're the best girl. No, we don't want a good girl. Good girl. Oh, there's blood over here too. There's blood everywhere. This is a killing field.
Yeah. Is this the killing field, Mango?
I wish you would put him in your bowl.
Yeah. That would be pretty ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, good girl.
Yeah.
Yum, yum.
All right, you do me.
Hey guys.
I'll be you.
Gabe always stands like so close to the camera. It makes me look like super short and small.
So good morning.
Good morning. After that little breakfast treat, we are back.
We're back.
We're just going to go over what we're doing today. So we had our giant Ikea run in which there was no room for me to sit in the front seat anymore. I had to like push it all the way to the front to get this armoire in, which I didn't realize the boxes would be so big. Anyway, so I just had to like hang out in the back seat and try not to let a pile of stuff fall on me. But we got that all here. So today, hopefully we're going to put hardware in the kitchen drawers. We need to replace one of the fronts on the drawer because it got dinged when we were assembling it. So we're going to do that. And then hopefully we will put the finishing touches on the windows, then put the hinges on and then hang them today in the kitchen. So any one of those things would be a good step forward. All of those things would be great.
Yeah. Do we dare try to tack on doing the armor? Putting that together?
Yeah. Oh, and also treat it. Whoa. Somebody is full of mouse and now wants to lay down on the bed. I don't think that's a good idea. So we have an armoire to assemble. That would be huge if we did that today. And we have, what else do we have? Oh, and then we still need to keep treating those butcher block countertops. So that's something we also could do today. So any of these things, even one of these things getting done today would be great.
Yesterday was turned into mostly a recovery day, particularly for you. You were pretty wiped out.
Yeah.
So I made that my day to do errands. I didn't think that was particularly exciting, so I just kind of left it out. So one of the other things, so in our last video, we brought up that we had thoughts on city versus country. And I figured we'd go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Sorry, Mango's distracted me because she looks like she's going to throw up that mouse now. You okay? You want to go back outside?
Good call.
Yeah, she looks a little like she needs to have some outside time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, okay, so city versus country. Talking about that stuff because we're just in the city where we spent most of our lives living, and now we're back at home.
I remember, so we were cleaning out her office. Her office was on the 9th floor of a building in Northern Virginia that looks out, the window looks out upon the whole DC area. So you can see the Washington Monument, the Capitol, like everything. All the monuments are visible. They're distant, but it's visible. And everything in between where we were and everything that we could see, basically, was just like stacks and stacks of buildings, concrete, roads, people. You know, and DC it is beautiful in terms of cities. Like it does have a lot of trees and a lot of greenery, but I mean, it's just so many people, so much. It's jarring when you come from, you know, here where we're in a county of 15,000 people and we have two cities of 25,000 nearby. Mm-hmm. And you know, DC, I think there's like 5 million people in the DMV area. It's just it's just striking when you go there. So that was one thing I noticed.
Yeah, I think that this time, more than any other time, I noticed that like I feel a lot of stress when I'm there. So before, like when we were working on the cabin, it was like nice to get back to the city because there'd be like hot water and like a toilet that you could use. But now that like we've pretty much settled in here, even though we're still in a construction zone, and like those things aren't as exciting, I was like, wow, there's people everywhere, there's traffic everywhere. The COVID traffic is now like gone. Like people are now out on the roads doing things. So it's like traffic every single place you try to go. There's people everywhere you try to go. And so we did end up meeting our friend for brunch in DC, and like that was crazy. Like even, just in the past couple of years, they've built up that area so much around Union Market that it was almost unrecognizable. Like there was just so much stuff, so many people all over the sidewalk, so many condos and apartments going in. And so I just felt like the whole time this low grade, like just kind of stress. And I was wondering if that was really what was always going on in the background when we lived there. And like part of the reason, we had a difficult time getting pregnant when we lived in the city. And when we moved out to the country, it turned out to be pretty easy. Not easy, but like it was definitely much more successful. Yeah, I'm just wondering if like that was a factor. Yeah, and then my friend that we met up with, even he was remarking about like he'd lived in the area for like 10 years and how much has changed and how there's people. So it's like I think everybody feels it, that there's some kind of stress, even though people like live in the city and like to live there. I think they still feel this like low grade, like residual stress like all the time about like there's just too many things going on, too many people around.
Yeah, you just had a sense that people were kind of shuffling from one errand to the other, and I just kind of get this perceptible sense that people are just kind of grinding and rushing and trying to pack stuff into their day. I mean, it's just the general vibe there. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just
yeah, I mean that was us. I just think
definitely us.
You need the contrast to like see that that's happening to you, to know that it's happening. Like if you grew up in the city and like never left the city like we had not, or like we had grown up there and like lived there, you just don't really notice it until you are like in a totally different situation and you're like, wait a minute, like why do I feel like so agitated? And so that's kind of what it was. It's just like slight agitation that we definitely don't feel when we're out here.
Well, my brother and I have had this ongoing conversation for probably 25 to 30 years about, how are we mitigating stress, and what is our stress, and how is that manifesting? And sometimes it's unknown, this sort of amorphous, vague sense of just stress. And we talk about different techniques and different, we'll read books and share, about making lists and all that stuff. And what I'm realizing for me as I'm coming out here is that the biggest thing I could have done is just remove myself from that, stressful environment and come out here, because it's just completely different. In terms of the quality of life for me out here is just so significantly higher. I think that just removing myself from that stressful environment was a big part.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people talk about like the amenities, like cities have like much like so many more amenities, but honestly, we were there with the amenities and like there wasn't anything that we were like, ooh, gotta do this, or ooh, wish we could get that in the country but we can't. Like there was nothing that we were totally going crazy for. I mean, there's a lot more food choices I guess up in the city, but we have found like really great places out here that we enjoy, so like that's not a really big deal. And now like with people getting high-speed internet, because now we have high-speed internet. And then, like Gabe said, there are like 2 cities that are close by. It's like we have like, I don't know, the Trader Joe's, the Whole Foods, like, what other people would have within like a close distance. Not Ikea, but but that's okay. But like most of the stuff. So like I don't think that being out here or being somewhere more rural is actually the way that people think about it, or like the things that people say, like, oh, I won't have my bar classes, or I won't have like hot yoga. I was like, you have all that stuff out here. You have all that stuff, and
just gotta drive a little longer.
Yeah, and like you have the benefit of like not having so many people and so much traffic. I mean, even if you have a long drive, it's moving. Like you're not in traffic. Like you're just driving, which is a lot less stressful, I think. So
that was kind of surprising for me. Like every time I go back up to this point, I'd be excited for the food. I mean, absolutely excited for restaurants. This time, I just didn't really have any particular draw for me. So I guess the only thing that was really nice about going back was the people. Like having lunch with my parents, seeing them in person was really great, in particular because of this year. But meeting with your friend and having brunch. Those are the nice parts. So I think that it's kind of distilling down to people and the people in our lives, and that's the best part about going back to the city now.
yeah, so yeah, just some thoughts. I think, you know, on the whole, I don't think. I mean, it's just different ways of living, right? Like we're not like, you know, one way is good and one way is bad. We're just saying like for us, like we realize, wow, even people who like grew up in that environment who are very used to it. I mean, even now, just being here for less than a year full time, huge difference when we go back up there, with stress and just like seeing all those people and seeing all that traffic and like having all that hassle. Like when you weigh the pros and cons, like it seems like for us, this lifestyle is so much nicer and so much better, and has a lot more rewards. So it's just nice to see that, because it could have totally been a mistake. We could have come out here and been like, this is not for us, but in the end we did good. So but I think you just don't know. You just don't know until you do it.
And that was kind of baked into the cake for us. You know, the nature of having to come out on weekends and holidays to do the work over the course of years. We were like, oh, cool. Well, we got a chance to kind of feel out like whether this was a horrible mistake or not. You know, are we going to like it out here? And we were open to deciding, no, we don't like it out here. But it just turns out that we love it.
Yeah. So we're going to replace this drawer cover first. So we follow the instructions from Ikea. Those were not correct. And so when we install the drawers, they banged into each other. So you can see right here, there is a dent. Zoom in on dent. It's just annoying because they dent really easily. So you have to try to be really, really careful with them. So we have to take this guy off. And we got this new one here. So that was like a $56 mistake. I guess it's better that it wasn't one of the big ones. So that's what we're doing right now.
It's the value of putting together an entire test drawer is that you suss out all those things before you put everything together.
They said it would be better if their directions were correct. They were like off one hole on putting the hinges in, and like that's why they hit. It's just like, I don't understand why they were wrong, but whatever. Now, no dent. Ta-da!
Sweet. So I probably can't tell, but maybe you guys can.
Yeah, see right here? This one's lower than this one. See that?
Oh, yeah.
Lower. So we just want to scoot it up a little bit. To be fair, it's not a lot. It's just some. Oh, it's better, right?
Yeah.
It's a good story.
Yeah, tell it.
Oh, I went to school with Harrison Ford's nephew, and he was like, in real life, my uncle is like the most boring person of all time. And one time I asked him about it, like, you're pretty fun in the movies, like, how come you're not fun in real life? And he's like, I save it for the screen, kid. I save it for the screen. I was like, that's a really good Harrison story. Anyway, but Harrison Ford, real life, just in case you're wondering, super boring. And not fun at all.
Sometimes Christina will just start talking and I'll be like, not recording, and save for the screen, kid.
Okay, so we have this template for our handles. And there are templates that you can use for any handles, but these are the Richelieu templates for the Richelieu handles, which, you know, helps you with your success, maximizing success. Like my sister just put in a bunch of Home Depot handles, but they were Liberty. She's like, you want my template? I was like, no, that's a Liberty template. So you can see that the holes match up to the interior. Oh, see me dropping this on the ground. To the interior holes here. See that? Perfect match. Woo! So you can place it like anywhere you want, as long as like it goes in the interior holes. And then what it does is just hangs on the cabinet there. And what you typically do if you're putting on one handle is like you measure where the midpoint is. You put this little notch on the midpoint, and then you decide like what height you want your handle, right? You know, Probably here. Maybe here. You decide. It's very exciting. And then you mark those holes, and then they actually give you, which somehow I've lost in the 5 seconds that it's been here. Great.
Christina with Prego Brain is like me every day, and it's driving her crazy.
Yeah, it's horrible to be Gabe when you could be me. Yeah, losing stuff all the time. I mean, literally this drill bit like got lost. It was just here 5 seconds ago and then it got lost. But comes with a drill bit so that you can drill the proper holes for these screws and then you can put your handle in. So everything is all together, should be the right size. Pro tip, you want to do these when your cabinets are straight. You want to do them when they're set up, right? But do not do them like this, where you're drilling and you don't know what you're drilling into, because that is a recipe to drill into another drawer or to drill into some of your stuff that you put into the cabinet. Ask me how I know. So don't do that. So this time, hopefully, we won't screw that up.
Keep in mind, I can't hear you at this distance. Camera to you.
Oh, I thought you were just doing the fast forward. I'm just asking you what.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to the camera.
This is a personal conversation about where we want the handles. I'm asking you, Gabriel.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Are we unhappy? Are we just like announcing ourselves to the Mises? What's happening?
Hey. Hey, what's wrong?
Is it again an activity about too much activity?
Hey, just like, why don't we just go relax, guys?
I think it might be. How lazy were we before, Mango? You sure didn't make me feel bad about myself. Oh, well, no one feels bad about that.
Hey.
Hey!
Good.
Look at job. Oh, look, we can open it. It's so exciting.
Let me see. That looks shifty.
No, it does not.
Oh, there it is.
So we're going to put 2 handles on this drawer. We think 5 inches in is going to be good. We're just trying to get everything lined up. And we did get these lined up for a second, and then we drilled the handles in, and now they're not lined up again. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if this door is just like super big, so it's like difficult to have it do what it's supposed to do. Hard to say. So we're gonna try to adjust it again.
So there are little screws in there that will control the up and down and left and right of that cabinet face. And so you get to the right hole there, which she's doing. And so we want this to go to the left. So we're going to think like loosen the right side and tighten the left side. So it's good?
It's closer. It's good enough. I think that's all like we can do. So it's definitely as close as that other side.
That's good, because I couldn't tell the difference anyway. Okay, so there are 4 major projects.
Sorry. Turn that off. That's off now. 4 major projects.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill you. I'm going to straight up murder you.
Who has a witness? Who has a witness? I might choke on this cheese by doing a joke.
So we've got four major projects, I think, right? So before Christmas, we've got a few things that we're going to get done. We're going to put together the wardrobe. I'm going to paint and hang the trim above the logs. And those 2 things are going to get a lot of mess out of our bedroom and into their homes. That's good. And we got hanging windows.
Yep.
So then we're going to take a little break from doing projects. And we'll see how that goes. But after that, after we take our break, we've got 4 major things that we need to get done. We need to tile the backsplash. We need to refinish the 2 big windows that are in the kitchen. And we need to rebuild the mudroom wall. Oh, the rest of the trim. The rest of the trim.
Yeah, the rest of the trim. Which that still is a good bit. I mean, even if we do the mudroom, this door is still not going to be operational.
We need to get hinges on it, right?
And we need to figure out a handle.
Okay.
No, and it's a really thin door, so I was like, the only handle I think is going to work is that one that we have over there. Unless we want to put some kind of hardware on it that's like, yeah, I don't know. I wish they made new ones of this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's an exterior door. This is fine for this, but more to come on that. And then we still haven't done any baby-proofing stair situation, which we might do after the birth. I guess it's not that bad. I guess that's really the last 2 things. Make the door operational. I mean, there's more stuff to do in the house, but like the last things that we're going to do before we have the baby is make the door operational and then try to fix the stairs.
So today, when we were putting on the handles for the Ikea cabinets, we also rearranged the stove. We got that to be flush with the wall by attaching another piece, so got that done. Now I'm going to apply the second coat of the oil to the countertops. So you can see behind me here, you can see little splotches of kind of drier wood. So, you know, it's obviously not done yet. And so what I'm going to do today is just sand it. I've got a 320 grit sandpaper. I'm going to sand it first, vacuum up all the dust, and then we're going to reapply more oil. Let it sit in this time a little bit more, and then we'll wipe off all the excess and let it cure for a week. Oil's on. That's coat number 2. Definitely more shine and like more detail. Like that right there. It's much more visible. It's almost like tiger striping. I think it's like a tiger maple guitar, Paul Reed Smith guitar, kind of striping. It's pretty cool. Nice.